Hey guys, welcome to the German faction tutorial slash opinion video. In this video I'll go through the units in a bit more detail than the others because I've got a few comments on that. Just not too much, as I do want to get through this in less than half an hour. So, the German faction, I think they're a nation that has great units and as an answer to most of the enemy's units, but in a complete pressure game with infantry they do have less to fight with. So they do rely on their 20mm light vehicles. On high MP games though, they definitely have the best tanks. So let's get to it. Low MP game, the start, you can start with the assault squad. It's a pretty decent assault squad. So what you want to do when you use these, run to cover, run to the flag point, pretend it's a flag point. Then spread your troops out, not the assault squad leader though, because you want to make this guy fire all the time. Because it's got better accuracy, longer range, and it does more damage. It's the STG-44 guy. So get him firing, and as per usual start off with single SMGs, or rifles if that's what you're after, but SMGs are generally better. Then you have the elite marksman. They're a decent elite marksman, 130 MP. They come with 3 G34s, so only 3 of them with the automatics. Good rifle. Similar to the Soviet one, but not as good as the USA one, so I guess the second to third best. Then I think the second best. Then you have your start with the Kabul, like any other nation with a Jeep, as in previous videos. Uses to deny the enemy the flag point at the start. It's only useful in team games where you're fighting over one flag, and after you deny the enemy you can move on to other flags to help your teammates, which is what makes the Jeep so good. It's mobile and fast. Always start with singles with that too, as per usual, because numbers do win the initial battles. So with the special points you've got the veteran sniper. The veteran sniper is a fantastic attritional fighter and can quite quickly make its money's worth by targeting high value targets. So with this guy, you're just going to make sure you target the MGs, so the 30 cals that the enemy will spawn, the Blackwatch MG, Lewis gun, and also the elite marksman. Those are your priority targets. You must watch out for all econs, charges from the enemy, because the enemy's going to have more infantry than you as the allies. They have the Blackwatch, the Marines, as the charge, as Soviets, the shock infantry, and also as the USA team, they have the 30 cal and the Marine squad. And you don't have anything, you just have the sniper, plus Brandenburgers, which don't have the firepower all that does. So they're going to be chasing you down. You just got to be repositioning if they do. So watch out for that. The other special point unit that's great, so I'm talking about all the good ones that I think are a staple. Brandenburgers, these guys change games. So they come with the stealth modifier, so they're stealthy. What you can do when you buy them first is select one guy with the Panzerfaust and double click on him, and I'll select all 4, hold fire on them all, and spread them out on the map. I like to use them in ambush, so I hit them on prone, and the enemy can't see me. And wait in areas of the map for tanks that will come to walk by me, or if they don't come, I'll just go sneak around and go to them. Just give you a bit of an example of how good the stealth modifier is. This is for all stealthy units. See, I'm about 15 range is where they get detected. So you can see here, right now, the enemy still can't see me. The enemy still can't see me. The enemy can't see me. Just right about there they can see me. So imagine you have a tank, this is the enemy there, and the enemy has a tank right there. The range of the Faust is about 30. So I can hit the tank all the way back here. So the line of sight needs to be more closer for the enemies. This is why you got to be very wary when fighting Germany, because of the Brandenburgers. As you were saying now, it's even tougher because they have 35 range in the bazooka. So that's how good they are. And Brandenburgers do change games. They definitely do. And it's needed to fight off the Croc and tanks. And they need to be used in conjunction, I think, with, so you don't rely on your tank all the time, with your 20 mils. So this is where Germans need to really buy 20 mils, because they're the backbone of your army to defend against the mass infantry of the Allies. So you got the 20mm here. Positional, better I guess for games where your flag is closer to your spawn. Slaughters infantry or lock down the map. Then you have your 222, 230 MP, a bit more expensive but mobile, and it comes out quite early. So you have a choice between 220 MP more for the looks, but the thing is with the looks is it can't get killed by a 50 cal. You can't get killed by a 20mm at far away, like all econs, or the UK, or even the the T60 or the T70. You can counter the T60. You can't get killed by the T70 unless the T70 gets a bit closer. This is a bit vulnerable to the 50 cals and can get killed by 20 mils and Orlicons. But don't think that you don't buy the 222, because the 222 can come out earlier than it looks because of the timer. So you can buy this for a rush. Also, sometimes this may be on a timer, because if you lose this looks, it'll be on a timer and you'll get a 222. 222 is by all means great on its own, but if you compare it to looks, most of the time you'll choose the looks. So this is the mainstay of the German army, in my opinion. Great for pushing. You can see my infantry killers video. It's the best for price, I think. It comes at a good time. You've got all this on the tutorials. I'll watch the infantry killer tutorial. I recommend that highly to understand infantry killers, because they're the backbone of the German army. So in the middle MP game, you have quite a few options with tanks. For an early tank, you can have the P3, 320 MP. Please ignore that F. It's not in the competitive mode. I'm in test mode, so it's showing all units. So Panzer 3J, the 320 can be bought. It's the most economical counter for the Crusader A 40mm, which costs 40 MP. I would say counter. The apostrophe is kind of a counter. It's bought also to counter 20 mils quickly. Crusader A 20 mils, Orlicons, Bofors, Maxims. I guess just any sort of or Stuarts, any sort of lower tier tank. But remember, it is quite easily countered soon after. So if the enemy does have a bit of MP, they can buy Sherman not too soon after, and also buy Cromwell. So you got to get in range to play 50-50 APCR. So it's a cheap unit to counter the infantry killer as quick as possible. If you want to wait a bit longer, you then have the Panzer G, which is pretty good at taking out tanks. Versus the allied mediums, you can max range Shermans, Cromwells. You can take out most allied mediums. The problem with this is it has the same armor as the P3, 50 armor, which is susceptible to all other mediums as well that the allies can field. So generally, this is more of a, I suppose, you can kill everything, but it's a little bit risky too. If you're going to wait a bit longer, you can buy a H, which is more safe at 80mm armor on the front. It's pretty good. You can withstand a lot of shells and hits. Just watch out for your, I guess, your turret and main gun. It can get hit from max range, but the good thing is you have extra 10 range at 130 compared to the G. So you can take out Shermans from a bit of a bigger distance, and you're not in danger of dying. You're in danger of losing your turret and main gun if they get lucky. Not my favorite buy, but I think it's pretty good. The Stug, same price as the H with no turret, and that means no weakness, but also weakness of having to turn around and the problem of getting tracked. So you can choose. They're both viable. I think in a 1v1, definitely a H. In a team game, Stug is definitely good as you're facing down one flag. It could be good. So I also think the paras are pretty cool. The paratroopers for the Germans, the G43s and FG42s, I quite like them. So that's my choice. Then you got the medium to high MP units. You got the Veteran Tiger. That's, yep, I've got to say that first. It's the best tank IMO for in-game for the price. 7 special points, reload speed, supreme accuracy, and penetration qualities, obviously. And of course, obviously armor. Take the note, you've probably seen the Veteran Tiger tutorial if you haven't. 39 degrees is the best angle to face. It's got good side armor and frontal armor. Side armor is slightly worse, so that's why 39 degrees, unlike the T-34, which is 45 degrees. So this tank is great for killing every tank, basically, allies can field. Just watch out, I guess, versus Pershings, IS-2s. Generally, you won't see that often. And also watch out for KV-2s. So if you're fighting those kind of tougher tanks, the lower tanks have no chance. You can kill light vehicles, medium tanks very well, because it's got a fast reload speed and super penetration and accuracy. When you're fighting a Pershing, you just generally want to stay far away and just try to get lucky with the main gun. You have a better, faster fire rate, and you can main gun it, I think, if you're lucky. Track it as well. You have a better chance of tracking it because of your fast reload speed and accuracy, and then you can flank it. That's what my thing was. So I would prefer to be in a Tiger than in a Pershing. So that's that unit. You also have the Sta, decent unit. It's probably not the best SPG, but the good thing about this is got 80 frontal armor, so you don't generally have to be behind. I guess you can shoot over an arc over a hill, but you generally don't have to be behind one, and you can still be safe firing. If an allied tank was right there and there's no hill, I'll be safe to fire at it. I'll just shoot at it frontally. He can shoot me back, it probably won't penetrate me unless it was a Pershing or something, or a 17 pounder. So generally a decent weapon. Super heavy tanks, obviously they're all great. The obvious, this won't be in competitive national, they're not competitive. Elephant, that's OP, it's really good if you weren't in competitive. Jagdpanzer is not in competitive. Jagdpanther is, also you got the King Tiger, Panthers, normal Tiger. You generally don't want to get them too expensive, but I guess if you want to mention high MP games or combat games, they do have the best tanks, Germany, in heavy department, if you can afford them, but in general competitive assault squads zones, they're not, unless it's maybe one player goes that tank in a huge team game, which does not happen right now because of the performance problems and out of syncs. So, whoops, I just went up the screen. Notable mentions, I guess Pack 43 is decent as well, because it can really demolish super heavy Pershings, jumbos, even everything really. So I go through every single unit quickly. Sorry guys, I do have to go. I'm rushing actually through it. Voltstrom, yep, they're obviously, as per usual, as all nations, they're good to bolster your forces. Assault squad, good. Regular squad, okay. Not that great because the MG is overpriced, like all nations at the moment, sorry. DMS need to balance the game a bit more. They just haven't been persuaded on that yet. They will be eventually. It's been basically, the MG's been buffed for the last, I don't know, since release. It's been buffed maybe about 5 times, because that's how much we've been pestering them. But it still needs to be buffed more. MG Paras, good, I think. Panzer Grenadiers, 350 MP. They're actually on the more expensive side of the units. They got the STG-44, which is great at, I guess, medium ranges to closer ranges, so they're not super at far ranges. They also got the Panzerfaust, which I don't rate, I guess. They got good penetration. It's got the biggest penetration, I guess, but at 200. But it's overkill versus allied tanks. And it's only got 30 range. Whereas the other nations have bazookas or things which have longer range and are generally more useful. Because this is so inaccurate also in the move. You can't just double right click on a tank and kill it, which is a problem. So yeah, this is why I'm not a fan of Panzer Grenadiers compared to the other elite nations. Elite troops of nations. Single rifles, SMGs, I don't know, single SMGs like usual. It's not a great SMG, but it is an SMG, better than the rifle. AT rifle, very, very, very rare you buy this, because it's you'll be playing versus M20s. M20s are quite invulnerable to the AT rifle unless you get a side shot. Half tracks, sometimes you can hit the angles, and it's quite easy to hit the angles for a half track. AT infantry Panzerschreck, I think it's a bit overpriced. Over penetrates as well. You don't need that much penetration versus allied tanks, but that being said, it's 20 MP more. It's not too much difference, so it is usable. Sorry, it is good, but maybe a bit overpriced, unless you're going to be fighting Pershings only, which rarely happens. MG 3042, not great, so expensive for what it can do. Think about this versus 6 M1 Garands. 6 M1 Garands will win. Elite Marksman, not too bad start. Elite AT Infantry, I think it's a bit too expensive to be worth it. Yeah, I just think it definitely is. Elite Sport Infantry, I don't know, but it's pretty similar boat, but I think they're actually decent. But I prefer to actually get Elite Marksman and pick off the MGs off tanks or from dead vehicles. That's much more viable, more cost effective, because they are quite expensive. If you want to go this, you might as well go to 20mm. Think about the 20mm, it shoots, one-shots everything behind cover. This will not be able to. This will only kill a squad that's charging in it. Flamethrower Infantry, well, yeah, good in situations. Sniper, generally not, because you got the veteran sniper. Officer, no, unless you're playing a huge team game or combat. And you got transport procurement. The BMW R12, very, very, very situational. If you have nothing else to buy, no money to buy anything else, and you want to plug in a gap, I've done it a few times on Kreuzberg, where I need to plug in a gap. Kabul, decent start. Half track, this one, not great, because it's not like the Allied 50 cal. This is only, I guess, if you need an extra thing to assault. Generally, no. These, normal. Heavy MG, situational as per usual, very rare that you'll buy it. Flak, great buy for certain situations. Mortar, just like any other mortar, it takes too long to make money and it will set you back too much, and the enemy will basically throw a grenade on it because he'll have more MP on the field and he'll push through. A good player will push through. I guess on a normal game it'll be okay, but versus a good player, no. Pack 36, penetration not too great, I don't think. You'll be fighting, I suppose, you can kill light vehicles, that's about it. Can't really kill a Stuart either. Pack 38, you can see as well, it's not too great in penetration. You can't kill medium tanks, that's for sure. Pack 40 can, but you can see it's relatively expensive. I prefer a G because it's mobile, and you can see that it's pretty much the same penetration almost. It's just got a bit of extra range. So G, 75 penetration, whereas this one is 71 penetration, but just has 10 range. So I prefer, yeah, definitely. In AS1, I would have preferred the Pack 40, it was a great gun. Flak, this is a problem. 700 MP, it's decent. I'll just talk about this a bit. It's an unknown fact. It's got a stat you don't know about. It's got an accuracy boost, so it's very accurate. You can see how accurate it is. Thing is with this though, it's got the penetration values don't really fit in with what you're fighting. So you're 140 MP, 700. You're fighting. You can't kill a KV2 at maximum range. You can't kill any of the IS1s, etc. It's just a bit expensive. All it can kill is medium tanks, and for killing medium tanks, you don't want to spend $700 really for killing medium tanks. And at that stage of the game, the enemy has 105s and 95 mils, which outrange you. That's one thing which is a bit crap in the introduction to AS2. I think SPGs can easily counter this unit, so it's pretty useless. So moving on to the artillery, artillery is priced. I'll mention it, I guess, in more detail now. Spoke to Instinct, the game developer. We've been trying to get artillery changed to be viable in price, but they're not. But he doesn't like the artillery gameplay. That's why he's priced it this way. The thing is, it's CP costs. Just see the artillery tutorial. That will explain everything, and Jutska has a video on that too. It basically is overpriced, and the game maker himself admitted that. Panzerwerfer, same thing, but one a little tricky, I guess, with the Panzerwerfer. It's great. It can be good for casino player versus heavy tanks. You could destroy an IS-2 or whatever if you were playing combat or super Pershing and the likes with it. So you can get lucky and hit the engine, it'll flame. Not in competitive, this little tankette. 223, rarely bought. It can be bought, I guess, if you want to rush, YOLO charge, and run over an emplacement. That's really it. Otherwise, you just want the 20 mils 222 looks, which are great, as you know. Puma, very situational, quite expensive, 300 MP, and vulnerable to 20 mils, 50 cals, everything. So even the tank MGs on the Shermans can kill it. So I guess this is if you want to YOLO charge against a Pershing. You have nothing else coming. You can maybe distract the Pershing with something, send this guy to the side, hit the side of the Pershing and kill it. Not too bad. Then you got the Wibblewind. These and Oswin. These guys are, I guess, more survivability than these guys, but pretty much the enemy can perpetually turret you because the turret's so weak. It's weaker than they look, so you can kill it with anything basically and it'll disable it. So I guess if you prefer being not killed and disabled consistently, these are better. Very rare case. I can't think of a situation where I prefer this than the looks of 222. I think maybe if my looks timer was out and the enemy had maxims and 50 cals, I'd probably go this because I wouldn't be confident with versus a maxim of the 222. So weird situations like that. Also maybe a PKP, I wouldn't be comfortable with 222. All right, now you have the tanks here. P3, yep, good for countering the light tanks and infantry killers, and decent on some maps, shoots on an arc. Decent range, can take out emplacements like the Oerlikon. Things like that. So just make sure, obviously, in the map that has lots of hills, so the enemy can't. If you buy this, the enemy might have a tank which can kill you, and this doesn't kill tanks. So it's got to be very situational. In a team game, 1v1 no way. Team game, you can probably have a ally which can protect you with his own tank or AT gun. P4G, I guess is a 50-50, can kill any medium tank, but has a risk in kill too. H a bit more safer, and can take out allied mediums quite well. Tiger, it's okay, it's good, but not as good as a veteran tiger. If you want to spend that much on MP, you probably would want to spend all your MP on infantry and then get the veteran tiger. That's my reasoning. Doesn't get seen often. Panther, similar situation. It's got a very weak side, and good players can quite easily counter it. The problem with the Panther is, this is a big problem, guys. 105s, 95 mils, SPG tank guns can quite easily destroy it. With from max range, I think is this 150? I think it's 150. So long since I've seen a Panther because it's so crap in terms of, I guess, people can exploit it. Yep, the SPG guns can outshoot it and hit its turret and destroy it quite easily. So unfortunately, guys, yeah, I'm not gonna say no to the Panther. King Tiger, yeah, you can see how expensive it is. In any competitive game, you buy this, you lose the game for your team. But have some fun in high resources or combat mode. Headset not competitive, if not it'll be pretty OP. Nashorn as well, not competitive. Stug, as I said, pretty good. Jag Panther, same thing, as too expensive. Too expensive for competitive play, but I guess in other modes, yes. All this is not in competitive. Specials, Panzerfaust Squad, you're comparing the, when you buy the Panzerfaust Squad at this stage of the game, the enemy will have light tanks, and you don't need a Panzerfaust with light tanks, and it's also quite inaccurate, so it's hard to hit light tanks with this. And also, if you're playing the infantry game, you're fighting infantry, and with the infantry, same thing. So you're fighting Black Watchers, 30 cals, and shock infantry. These guys aren't good for killing infantry because they got KO 98, so 2 skill, horrible. Oh, in fact, I lie. You can actually use this to kill infantry, Panzerfaust. So this is actually a decent strategy. Hansy's good at it. I'm not good at it. He's so quick. If you're fighting, I wouldn't say this is good for killing assault squads. They're not worth the money. But one of these killing, if you kill, what do you call it, elite marksmen with this, they'll be worth it. If you can. So you've got your Goliath. This is, I guess, yeah, no good. No one is silly enough to fall unless you're playing pub games. Any good player, just see it coming miles away and destroy it. I guess the only thing useful for this is killing in buildings. So destroying cover, so you can have a clear view for your 20 mil or something like that. Brandenburger's great. Fallschirmjäger, not that great because it comes with a crappy half track. Then the Marder. Marder, you have, it's too risky at 3 points because that croc can counter it. Misses a shot or bounces the shot, it's gone. It's a desperate unit basically, the last ditch weapon. If you have nothing else to kill a tank that you need to kill, you'd use that. Radio Op, great, like all other units, like all other nations have this. Nebelwerfer, good for killing clumps of infantry. It's decently priced now, so you can just, it's a good attritional weapon, just slowly whittle away the enemy when they're coming at flags, charging at flags. Just hit it, obviously put it back, like any RD piece, it's decent. As mentioned already, Pack 3043, mentioned that Tiger, mentioned that Sturm Tiger. Yeah, it's got, the range isn't great, so it's okay, it can kill anything really, but it's just too expensive. If you can survive that long, I guess in a super huge team game or in combat or even a, yeah, you could, it's not worth the money. So anyway, I've got to go guys, I'll see you around.